Most of us harbor deep-seated hatred for ourselves, which stems from a variety of factors. I've met a lot of people, and there's always a pattern among those that are unconsciously unhappy with themselves. Most of the time, it stems from when things do not go their way. They try, but things do not go as planned. It might also stem from a perceived flaw in yourself, such as the way you speak or a physical characteristic, which causes you to feel uncomfortable. When this uncomfortable feeling about yourself begins to spread and intensify, it can cause significant harm, resulting to you hating yourself. When we repeatedly criticize ourselves, we begin to doubt ourselves, and self-hatred does not emerge overnight. It starts with tiny criticism of ourselves and escalates from there. And as we acquire self-hatred against ourselves, we begin to perceive ourselves in a totally different light. Not in a nice manner, but in a negative way. Because self-hatred affects your self-image. And in this video, I want to dig even deeper into self-hatred, its causes, and how we may overcome it. So make sure you relax and enjoy it. If you have not already done so, please like, share, and subscribe. I once saw a video that boldly discussed how self-hatred can be used to help you improve yourself. And to be honest, that wasn't my first time seeing a video like that. Most people try to channel it. But there is a significant limitation to this. First, not knowing why you hate yourself and simply channeling it without first conducting some self-discovery can backfire and make you hate yourself even more. So, if you want to channel your anger into something positive, I recommend that you first identify the core cause and stop it. Self-hatred, if not addressed early, can have long-term consequences for a person's mental health. When you perceive yourself in a negative light and it gets extreme, you may develop self-destructive tendencies. Some people rely on drugs and chemicals to feel better, while others feel compelled to abandon the world because they believe the world is better off without them. Suicidal thoughts comes from built-in self-hatred and regret, and then you begin to see yourself as unimportant. Self-hatred does not originate from a single source. It stems from a variety of sources, it is highly complicated, and manifests itself in a variety of ways. This means that someone may dislike himself for a variety of reasons. We are never born with self-hatred. However, as we go through life, we encounter situations that eventually lead to the development of this self-hatred. Some people experience bullying when they are young, and this inferiority complex leads to self-hatred. Others might have had failed experiences when it comes to love, and begin to feel resentment towards themselves. After experiences like this, we begin to develop a hate for ourselves, and this view is based on our worst moment. Let me use myself as an example. My channel isn't where I would like it to be just yet, and even though I love every bit of content creation, it was something that at one point made me hate myself. So, I have experienced periods of self-hatred and inadequacy. Every day I put a lot of effort into my channel and the things I love, but when I don't see the outcome I pray for and hope for, I start to despise myself. I start to feel inadequate and possibly destined to fail. But I then began to notice I am indirectly becoming something I preach against and kept on pushing. Nowadays, a lot of individuals are in similar circumstances to mine. You may despise yourself because you put a lot of effort into achieving a particular goal in life, and when the outcome is slow, you start to feel resentment at yourself. Some people despise themselves because they lack the luxury and wealth that society claims are necessary for happiness. Some people despise themselves because they focus on things that are beyond their control. For example, if you're short and frequently made fun of for it, you may start to feel insecure and tell yourself that you don't deserve happiness since you're not tall. This type of hatred stems from what society made us believe about ourselves. Some people despise themselves because of prior choices and experiences that they deeply regret. They start to relive the regret and overthink it, which prevents them from moving on. The vehicle of hatred is therefore fueled by resentment towards oneself. The majority of us constantly believe the voice in our heads that tells us we're not good enough, although this voice is rarely accurate. Our self-hatred is fueled by that voice. Exaggerating and concentrating on the bad aspects of life is something our mind enjoys doing, and it likes to continue this cycle. Sometimes the reason we hate ourselves isn't because we're actually failing. It's because we're seeing ourselves from a distorted perspective. We're too close to our own thoughts, our mistakes, our flaws, so everything feels bigger than it really is. But if you could step back and view yourself from above, you would see someone who is trying, learning, and improving. Not someone who deserves hate, but someone who deserves understanding. As I mentioned before, I used to have negative conversations about myself, but I've since improved a lot and realized that self-hate is never part of the plan. In addition to following my suggestions in this area, I suggest reading books that might improve your self-perception. I did this, and I think you should to do the same. You need sow new seeds in your mind to overcome self-hatred because it originated from what you sowed. As I've already stated, self-hatred is mostly a result of how we respond to life's experiences rather than something we are born with. However, in order to break this pattern, we must be conscious of the times when our brains want to feed us doubting, negative, and self-hatred thoughts. Changing the way you talk to yourself can help you become more conscious. Talking to yourself in a more pleasant and upbeat manner is a big step toward regaining your positive self-image. Because you have not reached the things you have always desired does not imply that you are unworthy or a failure. Your physical characteristics do not prevent you from being liked or meeting individuals who care about you. Because love or relationships have not been easy for you does not imply that you are unworthy of love. You should be conscious of all the patterns our brain attempts to play with, and your past experiences and regret doesn't define who you are. You should be able to see yourself as worthy, regardless of the trait or experience you may have had. Also, avoiding being tied to what we can't control is one way to get past our experiences and relax into the beauty of what we can control. You're not your worst thoughts. You're not your past mistakes. You are not the voice that criticizes you. That voice is learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. So instead of attacking yourself, start understanding yourself. Because real change doesn't come from hate. It comes from awareness.